What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the FTN World Cup betting preview here at FTNBets.com. My name is Zach Graham, aka Cole Eisenberg DFS, alongside my good buddy, longtime member of the Dream Stream over in those NBA streets, but it's World Cup time. It's Stefano Vaccarino, aka Big Money Play on Twitter. Again, you can find all of Stefano's bets as well at FTN Bets for all the sports that he dives into. But we're here to talk World Cup soccer, of course. This is going to be the Group A betting preview. We'll go through all the groups. And Steph, I know you're a big soccer fan, but you're a big Azzurri fan. And for the second time in a row, I don't know, I'm smiling too much. I think you guys got the Euro win in between, right? But your team not in. But I know you're still pumped for this event.
Definitely. I mean, it's the World Cup, right? Every 4 years, it's the biggest event in the world. But yeah, I greatly appreciate that subtle dig at my my Italian brethren. I mean, how do we win the Euros and then not qualify for the World Cup? That's it. I don't support North Macedonia. Hopefully, no North Macedonians are watching. That's all I'll say.
It's certainly been an up and down 8 years for Italy's World Cup team, national team. We're here to talk about the teams that did.
Right there.
Yeah, we're here to talk about the teams that did make the World Cup. And again, we're talking Group A here, so that's going to include the hosts, which you'll notice I'm going to say Qatar most likely, and I'm probably going to mispronounce some other nations, maybe some players along the way. So if everybody can cut me some slack, I'll appreciate that. But I mentioned Qatar in this group. They are the dogs here, even though they are the hosts. They'll open up the tournament Sunday the 20th against Ecuador. Also in this group, the favorites in Group A, Netherlands, and then Senegal is in here as well. So, Steph, I think there's going to be some groups along the line where I will not be going with the chalk, but just plain and simple, I'm going with the Netherlands here. I think they're going to take down Group A. How do you feel about this first group?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Dutch are certainly, rightfully so, the favorites. The key question here, right? Like, Senegal is a legitimate international team that can compete with any of the big dogs. They have star players. They have domestic players in Europe who play for all the big leagues that get crucial minutes in the Champions League and the Premier League, every league, right? They have a legitimate squad. The key, though, is Sadio Mane picked up an injury in his last game for Bayern. It looked like he tweaked his knee. We don't know to what extent he's injured. And that question is essentially the biggest question mark surrounding this group. If Sadio Mane is completely fine, I think it's pretty clear we see the Dutch and we see Senegal advance. I do think Senegal has the potential to actually win this group if Sadio Mane is fine. But I would go with you, and I would say the chalk is Netherlands 1, Senegal 2, Ecuador 3, Qatar 4, assuming Sadio Mane is healthy. If he's actually hurt and is going to miss time in this World Cup, I mean, I essentially would just flip-flop Ecuador and Senegal. Senegal is still a talented team that could advance. But they really lose an attacking threat with Sadio Mane. That's not like a hot take. He's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
But Sadio Mane is going to make a huge difference. And this Ecuador team is a legitimately good team too. You know, any team that's able to qualify out of South America needs to be taken seriously. This team has a ton of pace. This team is good. I would say they are a better team than Senegal if Sadio Mane does not play. Qatar, listen, they're not the worst team in this World Cup. Teams should respect them. They have some talent. But I'm not expecting them to shock the world here. I think they'll end up being the second host nation ever to not make it out of the group stage. So a lot of words there to say, yeah, I basically agree. Let's play the chalk in Group A.
Well, you talked a lot about Mane there, and I agree. Like he is one of the key players, obviously for Senegal. Like if he's not healthy, you said it. Like I don't think they have much of a chance. The chance is certainly diminished if he's not in form. But some other players to watch. I'll jump in first here. Like I think again, I know they're the favorites here, but Virgil van Dijk for me on that back line for the Netherlands, not just in this group, but like if they're able to make it out of the group like most people expect and get into that knockout round. His Liverpool squad has been having a rough go of it, let's say, over the last few months. And so if that type of form carries over to the World Cup, I think that's where maybe they slip up and don't finish as high in the group or in the knockout stages as we all think they should. So for me, it's Van Dijk as a player to watch. You also mentioned Ecuador, which I know they have. I'm a big MLS guy. They're going to have some familiar names to me, but you were mentioning some guys to me, some names not so familiar. So is there a player to watch from Ecuador that you really have your eye on?
Yeah, this is actually like kind of my favorite segment of all the World Cup team previews that we're going to do right now. Remember the name Gonzalo Plata. He's a 22-year-old winger at Ecuador. He is extremely fast. He's an electric player. Great speed, great technical ability, can shoot, can score. I'm getting James Rodriguez vibes from Gonzalo Plata, and not in terms of style of play, but I don't know if you remember that World Cup where James kind of broke out, where he was known, but he wasn't really that well known. I think Gonzalo Plata has that sort of upside. He currently plays for Real Valladolid. I can never pronounce that right. And if Ecuador looks the part and plays well, and specifically if they advance out of this group stage, he's going to be a big reason why. And I would expect him to make a transfer to a big club just because of how electric he is as a player, right? Great teams will gravitate, will pay money for that type of talent just because it's entertaining, right? And he's that type of player who's really he's going to entertain. He's a fun player to watch.
I love it. I can't wait to watch him and the rest of those Ecuadorians take on the rest of this group. But, we're doing this for FTN bets. So what's your favorite bet here out of Group A as things sit today?
This might be a chalk pick, but I think there's value in this line, and it's Netherlands to win Group A at -185 on FanDuel. I think this should be around -250, -300, especially with the news that – well, not the news. We don't know what news with Sadio Mane has. The reason why we're getting value on this is no one really knows how injured Sadio Mane is. If Mane is healthy, this line should still be around -225, -250. If he's hurt, this line should be like -600. So we're getting at -185. I like Netherlands to win Group A at -185. If Mane is completely healthy, I think Senegal is actually a good hedging opportunity to bet to win the World Cup at +10,000. I don't think they'll win the World Cup, but I do think they can. I do think if Mane is healthy, they'll get out of this group, and I do think they can win in the round of 16. It just opens up really good hedging opportunities out of this group stage.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And if you don't want to go through that entire process, for me, it's watching the news this week leading up to the World Cup. If we get good reports about Mane's health, to me, I'm jumping on -110 Senegal to qualify out of the group. So they don't have to go and upset the Netherlands. -110 for Senegal to get out of there. But then on the flip side, if we get bad reports about Mane, even odds for Ecuador to make it out of the group. So I think to me for Group A, my favorite bet right now is just keeping an eye on that Mane news and hitting one of those two teams based on the form that's being reported. So I think that's going to do it for us here in Group A. Again, one thing you can do, head over to ftnbets.com/World Cup for all of our World Cup coverage. If you haven't signed up yet, you can get a free 3-day trial to FTN. And then you can use the FTN Bets prop shop to check on these lines and really shop where you can get the best odds for either if you're tailing our favorite bets or you have some of your own. So you can find all of that at ftnbets.com/World Cup. Again, that's going to do it for Group A. We'll be back with a Group B preview, United States group. Steph, we'll do it here in a minute. Stay tuned. FTN Bets World Cup betting preview rolls on.